What's up?
Yo, dude, how you doing?
Great, a little bit tired, but I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fucking tired as well. I'm also sleepy
Why?
because my schedule is chaos.
It's, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's always fucked up. It's always fucked.
I thought you always play afternoon till midnight or something like that. So I thought you have a solid schedule, although it's late.
Oh, sometimes I'm like, well, fuck. If I go to sleep now, my stream's gonna start at like midnight. So I guess I'll just not sleep and stream again. That is what
Do you
happens.
drink
No.
Do you drink coffee, energy drinks, or something? No.
No caffeine.
Oh, nice, nice.
It's
That's very healthy, man.
Yeah, it's all just me. All right, dude.
Well, good. So, what should I do?
So, what should you do? This is what you should do. You should tell me how you feel about Zerg right now. And then also, I will log into Europe and we can start cruising. Now, do you mind if I read your little agenda here on the VOD right now?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Alright, so we're going to do a quick review of a Cannon Rush replay to show a response. And we're also going to look at a mech replay if we can. I'm sure we can because we have a lot of time here. And if you can show a solid game plan and build against Toss. Last time you showed me a one against Aaron. Yeah, so we're gonna look at a Cannon Rush, we're gonna look at a mech game, and we're also gonna look at a overall solid ZvP build. So it's a little bit of ZvP. I'm fucking down, dude. We could do all of that probably.
Yep, I hope so. You talk too much, so maybe 2 of 3 is fine.
Oh, I talk a lot, but you are gonna learn a lot, okay? You're gonna learn.
Yeah, man. For sure, my ZVT progress was huge. From 20% win rate to something like 55 or 60, something like that.
That's
I feel super confident against Terran right now.
That's really good. That's the right thing I want to hear.
Yep, ZVZ is also great after one of our coaching sessions. It's like no longer tossing a coin. I don't know. It's I just count the other guy's drones, and I almost every time I win. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it's super easy right now since you told me to watch how much drones he has, because I understand Zerg very well, and very well for my league, of course. And this is why I understand the match, I guess. But ZvP, the Protoss, I'm having so much trouble with it. Well, usually because of some strange builds, like cannon rushes or a lot of cannons to sky toss, something like that. The normal charge watt, Archon, Immortal, I deal with that quite nicely with workers, for example, and a little bit of Hydras, Link Banes and such, but against weird builds, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to scout. So a solid build plan will be great.
Sure.
Because I was the same last time we met, the last month, I believe, against Terran, and now I understand Terran better. So it will be the same with Protoss, I guess.
Sounds good.
Yep.
So really quick, are you actually on already? You are. Okay, perfect, bro. You've seen me.
I just invited you.
Hell yeah, I'm ready when you are, dude.
So let's start with the cannon rush. Watch with others, I guess.
Yeah. Just to throw this out there, what I'm gonna tell. We're gonna break this down, but what I'm gonna tell you is it's all about the timing of everything for you, and dealing with the cannon rush, and I'll show you how to react and read shit.
Okay, because I usually panic, man. I try to do Ravagers, I try to do quick lair, some long distance natural, and usually I fail. Oh, I should have made you.
Oh my god, that's okay.
No, this coaching session is.
It's ruined, dude. I'm out.
Yeah,
yep, you fucked it up.
Yeah. Okay, bye, man.
No refunds.
Oh, no refunds.
No, well, yeah, we'll remake it.
Yep. Sorry about that.
You're all good, dude. It's hey, I'm chill. I'm over here drinking a shake. I'm chilling. It's hot as fuck today. I got a shake. I'm happy.
You got a chick?
No, I got a shake. It's like ice cream. Ice cream drink.
Because I don't see any chicks on the stream. And
Yeah, I got this shake.
I was
here.
like.
Oh shit! Actually, I'm gonna. While this game starts really fast, I can still hear you. So if you want to say something, you can. I'm gonna fix my green screen really quick because it looks all fucked up.
Okay.
So how you doing, bro? Okay, I'm back. It's fixed. That was fast.
Is the shake healthy?
No, it's
No.
maximum sugar and fat.
Maximum sugar.
Yeah,
It compensates for the coffee, I guess.
exactly. That's my unhealthy
Yeah.
delight. All right. Well, I'm gonna watch your build, and you know, we'll see what happens, and we'll see how to read timers. But the probe timing, how early it gets to your base, tells you a lot. And you know, you were drunk when you played this too. Okay.
Yeah, I had one beer because I usually don't drink, so one beer was more than enough for me to fuck up my game at 8 p.m. But still.
Okay. Mila wants to join the coaching lesson. I'm sorry. If she barks, I apologize.
No worries. I like animals, dogs, cats, whatever. They're cute.
Yeah. All right. So check this out. This probe right now getting to your base this early is a sign. And do you know what this sign is? It's a sign that he sent his probe to your base after he built the pylon. The reason why that is because the probe got to your base, and it's like going up your ramp at 55 seconds, which means it got to like the front of your ramp at like 53 seconds or so. So, like, you know, at the edge of your overlord's vision is what I mean. So that's fucking early. For a probe to build, that's 12 seconds. And most people will build a pylon with their first built probe because you can't afford it otherwise. Unless you stop making probes right away, which is, nobody does that. So the way the build goes is essentially you build a probe, you build a pylon, you send that probe back to mine minerals. You build probe, and then another probe, and then your 15th probe will build a gateway, which turns into 16 supply because you have a 16th probe in the nexus being built while, you know, while the 15th probe goes over and builds the gateway. That's usually how it goes. And if this happens like this, that means he's going to build 12, 13, sorry, he's going to build 13 probe, 14 probe, 15 probe. That's already 36 seconds. 36 seconds of just build time of before he even leaves his base. Like that's because again, the third built probe will build the gateway. It times out well for the pylon when it finishes to then start the gateway. So the point I'm trying to make here is, if he's going to scout you with a standard scout, it's going to be a gateway scout. And that scout is going to leave his base at like 40 seconds. And that,
Okay.
yeah, and the average travel time across the map is like 35 to 40 seconds on average. So if it was a gateway probe, his probe should be getting to your base around like 120, 125, maybe 130.
Okay. Some Protoss like to block the nature row, but don't do any cannon rush.
Sure. They like you. So you're just be like you're saying they play like the game of chicken where they're like, you're gonna fucking pull drones, bitch. You gonna do it? Like do they just fake a pylon? Essentially, is what you're saying.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't react to it with drones. So
Okay.
we'll get there in a second. But yeah, like now you should know in the game clock, if you get scouted really fucking early and you're like, oh, that's way too fast to be a gateway probe. Now the threat of cannon rush is a lot higher. You're like, okay, this could be real. It could be. It doesn't have to be. If it isn't real, it just means he scouted you ridiculously early and his mining sucks ass. Because he's pulling one of his first 12 probes off, or like, well, it's his 13th probe being pulled off the middle line, which is crazy fast. Usually people only do this kind of shit because they want to block your natural if they don't cannon rush you. So if you get your natural down and he still doesn't, you know, then if he's here early and your natural does not get blocked, you just should feel ahead already by a little bit. It's not like, oh, I just won the game, but you definitely are ahead in that regard because he's mining a lot less than he could be at that point because he pulled the probe so fast. Now, and again, if it's like 125, it's standard, and you should not expect a cannon rush. Okay, see what he's doing here? Who gives a fuck? That's what I would say about this. Who cares? Your reaction to this now should be, the second he builds a pylon, okay, your reaction should be, let's build a pool. Like, you know, your pool can go down at either 17 or 18. Either one's fine. I would say it's always going to happen this way when you're going to be at either 17 or 18 supply when the pylon gets thrown down like this. If he pulls an early probe like he did. Because you can see he's building a pylon before the first minute is even up yet. He started this pylon at 56 seconds, which is... That's about as fast as a Protoss is usually going to build a pylon in your base if they just run over there and fucking build a pylon. They're like, ah, pylon time! So, 17 pool would be a great response to this. Because again, early probe is... it's already leaning towards it's real, and then now he builds a pylon. So it's even further leaning towards it could be real. And you can just react to it by building a pool. And 17 would be perfect. So you should be starting your... And this is an incorrect response. Don't even give a shit about pulling your drones. Ever. Never pull your drones.
Okay.
And this is why. It's all about getting Ravagers fast, and if you do, you will crush the shit out of it. And the less mining you have, the harder it's going to be to get Ravagers fast. And don't cancel the hatchery until he starts making cannons. Don't even cancel the hatchery if he lets a pylon finish. But the second he starts a cannon, cancel the hatchery. Because now it is, like, it's confirmed. He's legit doing it. Like...
It's not fake. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you do not want to be the guy, though, that there are some people who do this shit, and I've seen people, like, for instance, there was, like, a video of McCanning. If you know who that is, he's another streamer. He literally just built one pylon in the guy's natural, and he insta-fucking canceled the natural. And McCanning was doing a fucking gateway build. And he's like, okay, well, what an overreaction by this guy. And it's true. Like, a lot of people do that kind of shit. You do not want to cancel the hatchery until the pylon is done and a cannon starts. That's how it always goes. But the pool starting is huge. And your whole game is already fucked now because you're pulling drones. Because this is now, if you only have 12 drones on the mineral line still, and you have now 4 of them pulled off to go attack this, this is, you know, like, it's 25% of your economy that's now just missing. That's huge right now in terms of, like, actually making more money. And you're never going to break the pylon wall before our cannon goes down. Anyways, like, it's just not going to really go. Because the thing is, think about it like this. This is why logically this doesn't make a lot of sense to pull drones. Because even if you fully surrounded this pylon, this Protoss could build a cannon on the low ground and re-surround a new cannon on the low ground. And by the time you broke the pylon on the high ground, the cannon on the low ground would already be like halfway done then. And then it would also be surrounded by new shit like a gateway and a pylon. So, like, you're never going to stop the cannon. It's going up. And if you just waste a lot of mining time, all that's going to happen is you're eventually going to have to pull drones back to the mineral line. And you might lose one if you react slowly. But, like, the cannon rush is happening. So it's you just letting it happen is a better way to go about it. Because it makes your chances of defending it go from like I would say pulling drones as a defense is like a 30% chance to be successful. It's fucking hard because you cannot, like, the fact that you got blocked, you've already fucked up. That is how hard it was back in the day in Wings of Liberty to defend cannon rushes, because you didn't have the option of Ravager. It didn't exist. So you had, like, the fact that the probe showed up at your base. The proper response would have been immediately pull a drone to your ramp. Do not let the Protoss block your ramp like that. Because if you do, you've already fucked up. So don't ever pull your drones because it's so complicated. It's just fucking yeah. I'm just really drilling it in there because it's so fucking complicated to deal with. Going Ravagers every time should be your response.
Okay.
And then so if you went for a 17 pull, and then you would go just one gas, just one. Here's the thing though, if the probe, for whatever reason, if he beelines it for your gas, do not let him steal it. Do not let him fucking steal it. But if he doesn't give a shit about your gas, wonderful. What I want you to do, I want you to start a pool, and right after you start a pool, make it one gas, just one gas, and then make a second gas as soon as you see production go down at your base. And we're talking about a gateway or something like that. So you're not going to react crazy to a... to just like, because most of the people you're going to play against, I honestly highly feel like it's either going to be gateway pressure with stalkers and cannons, or it's going to be a guy who makes a couple cannons and then he makes a fucking Nexus. Like, how often would you say you play against Immortal Proxy with Cannon Rush? I bet it's probably almost never.
Very rarely.
Okay, yeah,
Actually.
that's what I thought. So, because it's a higher level build, and most people don't do that. Like, you know, unless you're like fucking like 5.5k MMR, you're probably not going to be doing a build like that very often.
Well, this guy did Immortals actually, but usually it doesn't happen that much.
Okay, we'll talk about it when we get there. But if you just, because the thing is a double gas early response is correct against Immortals, but you have to be able to read it in a certain way that makes sense. So I can tell you another way. I can just give you an idea. I can give you an idea. Okay, we'll talk about it as we go. But at the very least, start the second you start the pool first priority. Do like the fact that you're starting at gas right now is incorrect. Like the pool, every second that you miss is fucking you harder and harder and harder, because it's unlocking your Ravagers faster. And the whole point of fucking a cannon rush over, the faster you can get Ravagers, the faster you can kill cannons before batteries are even out. And then if the batteries finish as you're already killing the cannons, you deplete the batteries super fast and you fuck over everything super easy. Like, it makes your life easier and easier the faster Ravagers are made. That's all it is. So, yeah, gas go down right after pool, but pool's priority for sure. And I would say right now, one gas would be fine. One gas would be fine. Right there. Okay, now it's 2 gas. Now, no matter what, it's 2 gas. He made a gateway. It's production proxy now. So if he just made like 1 cannon or 2 cannons and then just left, he was like, cool, job's done, I'm gonna go back and mine and make my Nexus, then you would need to, you know, you could get away with 1 gas, and then you would be able to make 3 Ravagers over time. It would allow you to have a lot of minerals to just saturate the shit out of your bases with. But yeah, if it's production like this, 2 gas guaranteed. And yeah, these drones are it's fucking you so bad. And you haven't even started a pool yet. So this is really fucking you. Like, if we talk about it, let's actually go back to when your pool could have started. So you're obviously going to expand right now. And then you see a pylon. This is the 17 reaction. So now we're going to look at your minerals, and we're going to calculate up to 200 minerals, and we'll give you 1 second after 200 for the pool to go down. So now you're still at 17 supply. And also, this is kind of skewed, because now what we're going to have to calculate is 1 mineral per second, because you're missing mining time. So you pulled the drones win. Just like it doesn't have to be exact, but we're going to get a good estimation here of when your pool should be starting. So you pulled your drones at like 59 seconds. So now that's 4 minerals a second from 59. 4 minerals a second. And now we're gonna go to. So now we're talking. It's 106. It's 7 seconds have gone by, and 7 times 4 is 28. So you're like, give it like 3 more seconds, like right around 109 to 110. Like, we'll say, like, honestly 108 really, because you're also making money with the other drones. 108 guaranteed. 108. You should be able to afford the pool. And then your pool could go down at 109 because you're already at 80 and you've missed 4 drones mining minerals, 1 mineral per second times 9. That's 36 minerals. You could easily have built this shit at like 107 to 108, 109. Okay, like it 100% could have gone down. We'll just say we'll say 108 because right now you would actually have roughly like 210 minerals in the bank right now, roughly 205, 210.
Okay.
And then a spawning pool's build time is 46 seconds. So if you could build it at 108, that would mean it 156. Sorry. Wait, what? 154. At 154, your pool would be done. And now let's speed it up really quickly to 154. And your pool at 154 is still out by 26 seconds. So that's a huge amount of time. Your pool's not going to be done until until 220, and then now let's see your response of your Roach Warren at 220 when it's done. How long does it take for your Roach Warren to start? Okay, you start the Roach Warren pretty early after, which is good. Now let's watch. Now here's the trick of this too, okay? So you want to start the pool as early as possible. You then want to start the Roach Warren as early as possible. And you also want to start a Queen as fast as you can as well on the main base. And do not inject your larva. Do not inject.
Do not inject the larva.
Do not. It's too expensive to make just like Ravagers out of injects. You will never be able to afford it, especially if you're also proxying another base elsewhere. We'll go back to figure out why your drone died in a second. Or your drone's actually way across the map. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, like you don't have enough money to make Ravagers out of a larva inject. What you do want to do is you can actually throw down a creep tumor on the other side of your creep and your main, not necessarily at the cannons, but kind of maybe more towards where your overlord is right now. So you can have more radius of creep around your base. It's more room to work with your Ravagers, and it's more locations that get locked out. Because if a creep tumor fully spreads and a cannon builds on the edge of creep, it can't even kill the cannon. It can see it. Or sorry, the cannon can't kill the creep tumor, rather. It doesn't have enough range to shoot it. It can see it with detection, but it cannot shoot it, so it would have to rely on like a stalker or a zealot to kill it or some shit. But the point is you actually give yourself more mobility with queens and Ravagers and stuff like that. It makes your life way easier. Just one tumor is all you'd want to do. And then you can spread down the cliff, like down the ramp, up towards the other bases, if you can actually kill these cannons on the high ground. And then from that point on, never do anything with your queens. Like if you make more queens out of the main, never do anything. Never make a creep tumor, never make a inject. Just let energy sit and use it for transfuse if you need to transfuse. It's like your version of a shield battery. It's hard as fuck to micro this. So you don't want to use the queens to attack anything. You just literally let it sit there next to like your gas or your pool area. You just let it sit there. And then if you need to transfuse it. Otherwise, don't even use the queen.
So I shouldn't attack with the queens.
You should definitely not attack with the queens. The reason why is because they're going to get hit by the photon cannon repeatedly. They have less range than a photon cannon, and the whole point of the cannon rush and fucking it over is to not get shot by the photon cannon. Because the corrosive bile of a Ravager can outrange the cannon. So you don't even get shot at all. And then now you have the idea, and never make Zerglings here. Zerglings are the biggest waste of your life. That's awful. So when you make the Roach Warren has a 40-second build time. It's exactly 39, but we're just saying 40. The idea is you make your larva, spend all of your larva like on drones and shit and overlords until you have the first larva automated spawn, and then you spend that one as well after you start the Roach Warren. So you spent the larva that spawned within the first 10 seconds of the Roach Warren's build time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, and then yeah, exactly. And then you have the last 30 seconds of the build time of the Roach Warren to let it produce 3 larvae out of your hatchery, so that three roaches can be made right away the second the Roach Warren's done. And you also want to have a supply cushion too that is bigger than 6. So like you'd want to, if you only had like 6 instead of making these lings like you did, that you'd want that to be like a second overlord or another overlord again, to give you a cushion of like 10 plus. Like 8 would be like minimum, and then but more like 10, 11, 12, 14, something around there would be more ideal, because you're gonna need to have 9 fucking open supply to make 3 Ravagers, because you need 6 for the 3 roaches, and then it turns into 3 more to go to 9 for the Ravagers to morph in. It's for the evolve of it. So yeah, you need a little bit more supply than you have, which is gonna definitely slow your roaches down. And then you can see you started a Overlord now, and now you're only gonna have 2 larvae because you made one after the first 10 seconds. Now you're only gonna have 2 larvae when the Roach Warren finishes. And so you have the 1 Overlord in production. You only have 2 roaches now instead of 3. So that's huge. It fucks you over a little bit because it takes 5 corrosive biles to kill a cannon. 5. And if you have 2 roaches, that means 3 rounds of bile. If you have 3 Ravagers, that's 2 rounds of bile. And this is time that you need to not waste right now, because every single 7 seconds, like, and also a bile is a 7-second cooldown. So the point is you can kill a photon cannon with 3 Ravagers every 14 seconds. You can kill a cannon with 2 Ravagers every 21 seconds. So you definitely need to fucking have 3 Ravagers. It makes a humongous difference. Also, the spine crawler, I don't mind it. I don't mind that you build a spine.
I did it because of the gateway. Usually
exactly.
I don't do it, but
That's exactly what I was about to say. I'm glad you understand that. That's exactly what I would say. If there's a gateway, I don't mind that you build a spine crawler. If there was no gateway, I would say you don't need it. So I'm glad you already understand that. We'll move on. It's because it just helps with the stalkers and shit. But like, okay, now look, check this out. Check this out. Watch your roach. Watch the roach horn. This is time again that you need to not waste. Roach horn finishes at 3:02. A roach build time is 19 seconds, and a ravager build time is 9 seconds. So that's 28 seconds in total time that it would take to get 3 ravagers if you did it like ASAP. 28 or 20. Sorry, wait, what did I say? It's 19 and 9. So that's yeah, 28. And then your your roach one finished at like 3:12. I said. No, sorry, it's finished at 3:02. So your ravagers should be finishing at 3:21. That's I don't know why I confused myself there for a second, but yeah, 3:21 is when you should have 3 ravagers morphing out. And I would say, just in case there's like a second of lag or some shit, or you don't have like like it just takes a second for your PC to register you're making ravagers, I would say it would be acceptable instead of having 3:21 to be at 3:22, maybe 3:23. So you could like select it and do it, but you're like waiting for the unit to do it really fast. Like a 1 second leeway to like make the roach and then 1 second leeway to make the ravager is what I would give you. So like up to 3:23 would be okay, but it could be finished at 3:21. 3 ravagers. Now let's see how long it takes to get ravagers from 3:02. So right now you could be starting ravagers. Like, so the roaches could be done now, and you could be starting ravagers, which could be done at 3:28 to like 3:30. Okay, your ravagers aren't that delayed. They finish at like 3:33, so it's only like it's like a couple seconds late. It's like 2 seconds. It's not that bad, but again, you only have 2 of them. And now you need to be maximizing biles, because look at his. If we look at the vision of everyone, I'm just gonna say right now, if you attack a photon cannon with 3 ravagers and he already has a battery, you should tell yourself, wow, I did it really fucking slow. Just tell yourself that, because it's true. You could 100% get these ravagers on these cannons before the battery is done. Before it's done. It's impossible for the cannon to be covered by a battery if you make ravagers at the exact moment I told you to react to it, where it's like, oh, 17 pylon, and it's a probe with a cannon rush-esque scout timing. Let's make a spawning pool. If you would have started it all then, guaranteed you would have been crucibiling his first cannon as he started making batteries, and a battery is a 29-second build time as well. So you would have a lot of time to kill cannons. But now that he has batteries, now you have to play the game of depletion. Now you have to deplete the cannons rather than kill the cannons. Or you have to deplete the batteries rather than kill the cannons. So now it takes a lot longer to get rid of the cannons, and this is precious time that you need to be utilizing to kill that robo and kill that gateway. Shutting this down early is what it's all about, and every time you waste time, it just fucks you over. So far you've crucibiled once, and you know that was you crucibiled like 5 seconds or so after your ravagers were done, because you cast it 2 seconds ago, which means you cast it at 3:38 and your ravagers finished at like 3:33. Right? I'm not crazy.
Should I watch the game clock for these kind of things?
No, you don't need to. You just need to know timings of the units. Like,
okay.
the only thing you need to watch the game clock for, the only thing out of all of this, is that probe getting to your base initially. And you're like, oh shit, he's here at 50 seconds? Fucking, that's a pylon scout. That's the only thing I would say. Because if the probe gets to your base at like 120, that's a gateway scout. That is a non-threatening Protoss probe right there. That is a legit scout, is what that is. But a 50-second scout, that is a dude who built a pylon and ran to your base. But yeah, see how the Ravagers are just sitting here? Like, this shit can't happen, really. And then you throw a bile out. Yeah, I like that you understand that you can do it outside of range of the cannon, so you didn't get shot. Now, watch your Ravagers. I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna count the cooldown. So we're gonna count your first 3 biles, just to throw it out there. So you should be biling like right now. You should be walking up there, which will take like 1 second to bile the edge of the cannon, because you already know where they are. So you could cast it in Fog of War on the edge of the cannon. It would take you like 1 second to walk on creep to shoot it off. And we'll see how long it takes you to shoot it off. So right now, I would say you could already be doing it like 3:35. And you do it at 3:38. So it's 3 seconds delayed. Now, you can shoot the next one because of that at 3:45 if you're doing it like on point perfectly. 3:45 would be the second round. So 3 seconds behind already. We'll write that down just so I don't forget it. 3:45 could be the next one. Okay, you could be going right now. You shoot it at 3:46. That's fucking pretty good. If you miss like 1 second on it, that's acceptable. So you're now, but overall you're 4 seconds behind from the 3 initially and the 1 second right there. But again, if you can keep this down to 1 second per rotation, that's fucking great. We'll see how it goes from here. Hold on, Jesus. Okay, and then you shoot the next round off at 3:46. So now your next one should be going off at 3:53. See, like this is one where you missed it. You got shot by the cannon and you also missed it by 5 seconds. That's a bit of a blunder right there. You definitely don't want to get shot. You do not want to get shot by the cannon, and it's also you missed it by 5 seconds. And this whole time as well, this is your first 3 Ravagers, or your first Ravagers. You only have 2 of them, and you've missed 9 seconds in total off of your first 3 rounds of bile. And that, you know, the fact that you don't have a third Ravager is fucking huge right now. That's massive. How weak that this is for you, because you could easily afford a third Ravager right now. Like you actually would have had an extra 50 gas as well on top of what you already had because of the fact that you made 2 more roaches too on top of the one you already had. So you could have easily afforded 3 Ravagers, and you could even have a 4th Ravager coming out here pretty soon right now. So lack of damage is because of lack of Ravager here. That's huge. But 9 seconds up to this point already that have been missed. So these batteries still have tons of energy. Like, they're not being depleted very fast is the point I'm trying to make here. And never cross bile the pylon. In this situation, never go for the pylon. Never, ever, ever go for the pylon. Go for the cannons. He's always going to have... The only time I would ever say go for the pylon is if you can clearly see this dude somehow thought it would be a good idea to have a pylon in the front and make nothing but cannon battery behind it. And it's like just one pylon powering like 5 buildings. Then I'd be like, okay, that guy seems kind of silly. Like, why the fuck would he do that? It doesn't make any sense. And because if you killed that pylon, you accomplish literally nothing. Because the pylon that's actually on the top of the cliff, the top middle, that pylon powers all of those cannons and batteries. So... that killing that pylon is, again, that's like essentially a fully wasted round of bile. How I'm like, you're at 9 seconds right now. You might as well add another 7 to it, because that just sets you behind really hard now, because you just missed a full wave, because that, again, that pylon does nothing for you. The whole concept that you want to go for, okay, is break the fucking static D as fast as you can and go kill the robo. You have a clock right now, and the clock is... if there's 2 ways it goes about it, okay? And your opponent hasn't even made a stalker yet, so he's like foregoing that concept. But there's 2 ways it goes. Number 1, you break the cannon battery before the stalker count gets high. If you can accomplish this, Ravagers beat stalkers. If you can't accomplish this because you're being lazy, indecisive, or slow about depleting the batteries and getting rid of the cannons, suddenly the stalkers will run your ass over. That is just how that goes. And that's just how you beat stalkers if it's a stalker proxy with cannon battery. Now, the way you beat immortal proxy is it's a rush. It's a race basically about can he get an immortal out before you kill the robo, or can you kill all of his cannons that are guarding the robo and depleting the batteries in the way before he can finish the robo and make an immortal. So your goal is to get rid of the cannons as fast as fucking possible and go down that ramp and kill that robo before an immortal pops out. You have every single thing, like, you can totally do that is what I'm trying to say. Like, Protoss has to be very creative about how they build shit, and they have to build excessive amounts of batteries to have a chance at that immortal popping out. But this guy has not really been doing that much. And if you just maximize your biles a bit better, you could have easily broken this. 100%, because everything is so delayed for you, and the Protoss is still only on 2 batteries. You could have at this point definitely killed the 3 cannons by now. Here's another thing too. Here's a creative thing. Check this out. Now, if I was playing this game and I saw with an Overlord that he built a robo where he built it, do you want to know how you could abuse this really fucking hard and just auto win the game? It's basically, imagine if you're if you had just 3 Ravagers, like I said before, and they killed the cannon on the left, right? There's no battery covering that cannon. Imagine if you killed that battery on the left. Now imagine if you walked a queen into the 2 cannons on the right, so it took the initial hit, and right as you walk that queen into it, you run 3 Ravagers from the left down the ramp where that cannon just died. And then you just kill his robo. He could not guard that at all. He has fucking no way to defend that. So if you notice your opponent is doing some type of hole or gap in their fucking static D or their defense, because this guy's stacking hard on the right side of your main, and he leaves this entire ramp exposed. You could literally walk down that ramp. So that, I mean, that's a big opportunity for you. And I'm not saying that's exactly how you have to kill it, but if you notice something like that, you could definitely take advantage of it, because you should know that your goal is to not let an immortal spawn. That's your goal. If it does happen, it becomes 10 times harder. I'm not saying you're dead then, but it's just 10 times harder to deal with that shit once immortals are actually out. And most people you'll play against in Diamond League will get fucking shit on if you just deplete the batteries. Well, you have to be efficient with your timer, though. And the fact that you haven't had 3 Ravagers up until like almost a full minute later, and then you're going for the pylon, this is the biggest waste of time. The fact that he's even actually healing that pylon with the battery is a waste of time. Like, he should just save it and let his shit regen for the cannons. And then you also have to kind of realize too, auto attack range. You could actually, what you could be doing is you could be corrosive biling. If you didn't want to go down the robo, like I said, you could be corrosive biling his cannon and depleting the batteries and auto attacking the pylon with all 3 Ravagers out of range of the cannon. You have to just also realize that auto attack is acceptable if buildings are vulnerable. So you could do the same thing as well on the left side. Imagine this. You corrosive bile down the cannon and the pylon together at the same time, and the cannon has a lot less health than a pylon does. So it would die. The cannon would die in 2 rounds of corrosive bile, but the pylon would still be alive a little bit. You could then just auto attack the pylon and kill it on the left side. You could do that too, and then that would depower the gateway and the robo. So just kind of like trying to read it in a way where you can go, okay, well, how can I use my attack range to my maximum advantage to where I can shoot something and not get shot by a cannon? Just know that that's the goal there. If you can auto attack something, wonderful. But if it's at the cost of getting auto attacked by a photon cannon, don't fucking do it. So what you could do then is focus on getting rid of that cannon with bile, and then suddenly you create like a gap where you can now auto attack other buildings with, like a battery or whatever. That's fucking wonderful. A win condition as well is something that you kind of almost see right now, which is, do you see how far that probe is? You see how far the probe is, like in the front of his fucking cannons? If you walk 3 Ravagers within range of that probe and you have them all auto attack at the same time, you one-shot that probe. 3 auto attacks from a Ravager kills a probe immediately. And if you do it all at the same time, so you have 3 Ravagers all at once, attack it, because you don't just A-move the probe. You walk within range of the probe and then attack it, so they all shoot at once. They don't shoot like one at a time in a single file line as they get in range. If you shoot all at once, a battery doesn't have time to heal. A battery doesn't prevent damage, it just heals damage that has been done. And 3 Ravagers together do 48 damage. So it would be 8 damage over what the probe has in health in total, and it would just kill the probe. And if the probe dies, no more cannons, no more batteries. That's also a win condition to killing this kind of a rush. But again, the biggest one, if everything I'm saying right now is like going in one ear out the other, and it's like, holy fuck, dude, you're telling me so much shit. Just be efficient at making Ravagers and fucking use the bile on the cannons. Deplete the batteries, and you will actually kill the cannons. If you're not efficient, the cannons will be high energy like this for a really long time, and this has nothing to do with the fact that Ravagers can't do this. It has everything to do with the fact that you're just being really slow about doing it. So that's something that where you can always look at this and go, if you ever look at a replay in the future and go, fuck, this guy has so much energy on his batteries, I need to be faster. And you can look at things like, oh, I delayed my pool, I delayed my Ravagers, I delayed this, I only have 2. Stuff like that adds up like crazy. You can see like right now you're not biling either for a while again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean at this point now too, again, like I said, it's a race against the clock about the Immortal, and once it's out, 10 times harder. I imagine you're probably gonna die now. because this is so it's I'm not gonna lie, dude, it's so fucking hard to deal with Immortals. And the fact that you can, this is the best way to do it. If he has Immortals, you just stagger biles on the ramp, like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then you like can tech into mutas or something while you do that, and you have to do that the whole fucking time. The fact that he still has cannons and batteries in your main base means you can't do that on the ramp, because if you tried to stagger biles on the ramp, you're just gonna die as you run into the cannons that are still there. So that means that the Immortal has access to your main, and if that happens, you're dead. There's honestly, if I was playing this game against a Protoss who had equal skill level, and the situation looked like this as the Immortal was spawning, and I still had Ravagers in my main, 100% chance to lose. This is death. Because the Immortal can now walk up your ramp for free, and it can walk back and forth, and it can shoot your hatchery while getting healed by shield batteries. They can poke your hatchery like 3 times, back up, get fully healed by a battery, walk forward, shoot your hatchery 3 times, walk back, get healed by a battery, and it will do this like 5 times, and your hatchery's dead.
Super fun.
Well, it doesn't have to happen if you just you're efficient about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, like at this stage, it's super fun for the Protoss. It's super lame as fuck for the Zerg.
And if you are a drunk Zerg, it's also fun, actually.
Yeah. Also, never cross-bile the units ever. The only time you ever cross-bile the units is like, again, the Immortal when it's on the ramp. If you can zone it out of your base entirely. But like if there's still cannons here, and if this let's just say this was Stalkers and cannons, which it totally could be. Stalkers can be in your main with cannons and batteries because the Stalkers come out way faster than Immortals do. Never corrosive bile the Stalker, ever. Or even if there's like 3 of them, don't do it, because every time you waste a corrosive bile on a pylon, on not casting it at all, or on trying to hit a unit that he'll just walk out of it with, you're wasting time to deplete the batteries. Depleting the batteries is huge because then shit actually dies. And just to throw this out there, if you have 3 Ravagers, like you did, like I was telling you in the very beginning, that 3 Ravagers is 180 damage, and this is assuming he has all of his buildings spread like this guy kind of does, where it doesn't AOE damage the buildings because he's spread them out. He gapped them by 1 pixel each time, for the cannons at least. What that means though, look at the battery. It has 100 energy. 3 biles will deplete 60 energy off of that battery. So if you have 3 Ravagers and he's got like 2 batteries, early game like it was for a very long time, he had 2 batteries until you casted like your 5th round of bile. But if you have 3 Ravagers casting bile, that's, if let's just say you cast a bile that's 60 energy. If you cast 3 rounds of bile, you basically you almost fully deplete both batteries, because it's 180 energy, because it's 60 per round of bile, and they have 200 in total. So that's 180 out of that 200 that's gone. And then you have a little bit of regen energy that will go into play, but by the time you cast that 4th bile, they're going to be fully depleted. And you're going to actually be doing real damage to the buildings now. That's my point. So like if you're efficient about that, you will fucking kill these cannons. And suddenly these cannons won't even exist anymore. And really try never to get hit by the cannon. Cast the biles out of range of the cannon entirely, and then back up after you cast it. Don't ever walk close to it and then cast bile like you have been doing a few times, because again, every shot this cannon puts into your Ravagers makes your life harder and harder to maintain this, because suddenly like 2 of your Ravagers are already like 2 or 3 shots from an Immortal, and then they would die now. Like they're very squishy. Yeah, this guy does not make, like that right there, that's a wasted bile. This guy does not make batteries fast enough either. You could totally break this dude if you were just biling the cannons.
Yeah, all that advice is super helpful.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do, you know.
No, I know.
I know Ravagers are the answers, yeah.
It's totally fine. I mean, I'm glad that, you know, you gave me this replay, because now there's so much shit that you know now that you should be doing. And you know that the concept, the goal is to actually not let Immortals come out in the first place. And if you actually make that your game plan, this build is going to be like a fucking joke. You're going to be like, what? I was like, okay, well, that's like, it's like one of those games where if someone's watching my stream and they're like, okay, was that guy like bronze? The fuck? Like, that guy didn't do anything. It's because if you know what you're doing, and you will shut this shit down so easy. And this Protoss doesn't really know what he's doing either. And the reason why is he's had, up until 6 minutes, 3 batteries. He should have had like fucking 10. I'm not even kidding. But he's not prioritizing it at all. He doesn't give a fuck. All right, we'll speed it up now. So you get the concept. Now it's just really, you need to do it. But I mean, the game is kind of fucked up because you haven't been doing it, and now these immortals, like I was telling you, see how they're killing your main? That's exactly what we said they were gonna do. He just hits the main, backs up the battery, hits the main, backs up the battery, and it forces you to move forward. And then if the cannons are still there, you can't move forward very much. So the immortal doesn't have, it really doesn't have any like riskiness to using it. It's not like, oh fuck, my immortal's gonna get killed so easy here. He backs up like an inch, a couple centimeters, and suddenly he's getting covered by photon cannon still. So he can actually kill your Ravagers really fast if you try to chase him down. Holy fuck, you're playing stats, dude. You're playing trap. Look at that fucking prison micro. And yeah, now you're dead for sure. Like you have a proxy base, which is nice. I'm glad you're going for that too. That's awesome. One tip I can give you. This is a tip I can give you. Okay. Don't put. Let me see if you did it. Okay, you didn't. I'm proud of you, dude. I'm fucking proud of you. I was gonna say do not put your proxy hatches in the same group as your main hatch that's dealing with the proxy, because if you don't want it, you do not want to be making like Ravagers at the fucking expansion. Really, it's gonna make, because you know you want to defend yourself. You're trying to hold yourself up while you economy somewhere else. So I'm glad that you have it split off. That's good. That's very important.
I know that from the Bronze to GM.
Yeah. I imagine you probably panicked and made 2 layers, but you definitely only want to make the one for sure.
Oh yeah, that's a panic reaction for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, at this point now, I mean, it's
Do pros ever panic?
the what? Sorry.
Do pros ever panic?
Oh, not really. I would say they sometimes they get nerves, and they play worse than they should. But I don't think they ever really panic, because as a pro, like when I am explaining this to you, the game concepts about what just happened here, I know what to do, and I know what to do with this. Like literally, I snap my fingers and I've just thought about like 20 thoughts about what I should do, and it's not because I'm like a fucking genius where I'm like, I have like 5,000 IQ and I can see 20 steps ahead of my opponent in everything he does. It's because you look at what is actually the most efficient way things are going to go, because you've dealt with that situation hundreds of times, and you just know that it's going to go down the same path it always does, because gaming is a cycle of patterns and repetition. And pros are all about like, I fucking play this game for 12 hours a day every day. So I've been Canada 17,000 times and I know exactly what to do here. But yeah.
Yeah, so everything you need to everything you want to learn is actually repetition and repetition and repetition. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
All right, well, does that all make sense, or do you have any questions about what just happened there?
No, that was super helpful. I just want people to cannon rush me all day now.
Okay, yeah, dude, you will crush it. I'm not even kidding. You'll just, like the way that guy did it, you will smash that shit. If you just do the effective, like just make priority the Ravager, and you'll just like fucking shit on it. It'll be great.
Good. Can you while we're still at Protoss, can you show me a build? What to do against, I don't know, a normal Protoss game?
Yeah, make me leader. Leave the replay and make me leader. I'll make you a game. So you just want like a build you can do every game if you just find a Protoss player.
Yep, something like we did with the Terran. I don't know whether you remember, but a general game plan.
Yeah.
Because so, last time, for example, I didn't know that the second queen should put a cryptum or right at birth. I was always injecting first. These tiny details actually make or break the game, so that's what I'm asking you here.
That sounds good. Make me party lead, and I'll host the game up for you.
Okay.
And then, so this build's going to be probably pretty similar to the Terran one, and I'll take you to max with it. But essentially what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to give you a build that's like, it's going to be a speedling opener that goes into roaches that has the ability to go into Roach Ravager if you want, because you already have a Roach Warren. It has the ability to go Roach Hydra if you want. It has the ability to go Mass Hydra if you want. It has the ability to go into Lurkers as well if you want. And what this is all good against is Hydras obviously are going to be good against air for this particular build. Lurkers are going to be good in the sense that if you're having a problem breaking your opponent and you want to add in Lurkers and get Hive Tech with it and like, you know, siege him, that'd be great. If they go Colossus, Lurkers are fucking mandatory for this build. And then that's the only one that's mandatory. They go Colossus, you go Lurker, you wreck. And if they do any type of an all-in, you just make Roaches. But if it's an all-in that's also based off of sentries, literally like an immortal all-in with 8 sentries or some shit, and he's gonna force field you, Roach Ravager. That's all it is. Like, so Roach Ravager is Ravager's mainly against sentries, Lurkers against Colossus, Hydras against air. That's how you would break it down. And then if it's nothing specific and it's kind of just, you know, whatever, it's got a little bit of everything for Protoss. It's not anything that's like a big Colossus timing or something like that. It's an average Protoss player. You could go Roach, Hydra, and then it max out, and then eventually just start adding Lurkers either way. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay.
What about if he goes straight Skytoss, Corruptors and Zerglings, I guess?
So, if he goes straight Skytoss, this build is going to have to be transitioned. And if he goes straight let me just say this. It's not really about what you build. If someone goes Skytoss really fast, it's not what you build that makes the biggest difference. It's about how much economy you make. And everyone who fucking sucks against Skytoss is the kind of player that goes, oh god, the Stargate, I'm cutting Hydras at 44 drones. Or sorry, I'm cutting drones at 44. And then I'm going to make mass Hydras. I'm just going to go Hydras at like 44 or like 47 drones on like 3 hatcheries. So like my main is fully saturated. My naturals got like 12 on it. My third has like 9 drones in the mineral line. And I have like 4 gases saturated. It's like a terrible fucking looking economy. And you're just like, this economy looks like absolute shit. And this Zerg is just making Hydras all day now and he's super all in. And then his first attack fails when he runs into cannons and Stargate units. He's like, well, I'll do it again. Make more Hydras. Like, don't be that guy. And you'll crush Skytoss.
So what I did against a mass battle cruiser player right before the session, I saw that he is massing battle cruisers, so I made 5 bases with kind of 10 to 20 roaches for defense for Helions, a lot of queens for defense of the battle cruisers, and I made like 30 corruptors and 20 O into his base to kill all the battle cruisers.
That's
and
great.
I did that twice. And he left because he didn't have any army left. So is it kind of the same against Skytoss?
Yeah.
So a lot of economy and YOLO with the corruptors.
Yes, there's nothing Skytoss can do to punish you early. It's It's harassment is all it is. Like if he rushes out 1 carrier and you have like 9 queens or 8 queens, just like you did against Terran, that 1 carrier can't do shit. And if he's instead the other guy who's like, okay, I'm gonna make like 8 oracles or like 6 oracles, and you have like one spore at every mineral line, and you have queens kind of roaming around, and you see where they are because you have creep, and you're like, cool, there they are. I'm gonna go walk over there and attack them. Suddenly the oracles don't do shit again. Like the oracles have to, or sorry, the Protoss has to have a buildup of army to be able to actually do anything really, with Skytoss. It's not something you rush and the game's over. And a lot of people treat it that way.
A critical mass of carriers, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a speedling opener into roaches, and if you see Skytoss, just know this, okay? Start making like what you just said, and once you get to the roach phase, make like 10 roaches, just in case he has adepts. And then go into maybe 7 queens or something with 1 spore per base, and then just make fucking drones until you're like at 80, and then go into corruptors and roaches if he's Skytoss. And then you can go corruptor, ling roach, anything like that. If it's archons, roaches would be great. If there's no archons, you could literally and it's just pure air, you can make more corruptor and lings. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Archons are the big one though. If you go mass lings against archons, you're gonna die. Like your lings are gonna do nothing.
What counters the Archon?
Roaches.
Roaches. Really?
Yes. Because
Because
you'll
they're
have way
they're
more. It's because roaches don't take as much AoE splash, and roaches are also somewhat tanky and durable. And the point is you'll probably have an overwhelming amount of roaches for the Archons to deal with. If you have like 30 lings versus like 5 Archons, maybe one Archon will die, but probably none will die. But if you have 30 roaches versus like 10 or like 5 Archons or something, like you'll lose a few roaches, but all the Archons will die.
Okay. I didn't know that. So 16 hatch, right?
Yeah, I did 16 hatch. Yep. And then I went 18 gas, 17 pool.
Should I leave the overword on top of the hatchery for cannon rushes, for more hidden cannon rushes?
Yeah, I mean, if the probe is in your base, definitely you do want to follow it, for sure. You always follow the probe wherever it goes. Keep tabs on it, and then once your hatchery is kind of basically finishing like this, you can send it across the map. That'd be fine. But you're gonna get speedlings. This is gonna be very similar to the. This is just like a solid macro opener that's safe with speedlings for Zerg in general. We're gonna get speed. We're gonna stop mining gas. We're gonna make a couple lings right now in case he makes an adept really early. This is the same thing as if it was a reaper.
Is the gasless build still viable?
No, do not do gasless. Do not fucking do
Okay.
gasless. Don't do that. Gasless is like super advanced. Like you have to know every intricacy of it, and if you don't, you pick the wrong one, it's like you're gonna die.
Okay.
It's
So
yeah,
one drone and gas.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about if you pull all 3 off, is what you're saying.
No, the total gasless build. You
Okay.
showed it
Yeah.
in the last Bronze to GM, I believe.
Okay, yeah. That one's hard as fuck. I would say don't do that one. It's
Okay.
really hard for someone to understand that concept unless you're really comfortable with it. So I do a
Third
creep
ca-
tumor again, and yeah, I take a third around 30 supply.
The creep tumor is first
Yep.
instead of injects, right?
It's always a creep tumor if you take a third like this. Always.
Okay. And the third is like 30 supply, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna inject again, and I can, good to go. We'll spread our creep. We can make another queen out of the natural, and we can make another tumor somewhere else because we're still waiting on the third to finish. And now we'll send this queen to the third to become an injector for it. And now let's make like an extra round of lings. And when you do the extra round of lings and you make like, we're talking like maybe make like 12 more or something, send one ling to both of his thirds. Just one. Just one. And now I'm fully saturated on my natural. Like as soon as the drone spawns, we will be. So now I just made 2 drones for the gas in the main, and I resaturated my natural, and now we already also made our lings because speed was finishing right there. So fully saturated main, fully saturated natural. I start the roach run. I start it. And
Full saturation. Okay.
yeah. And then now I can also start a layer. And now we're just doing 3 base injects.
Creep spread is not that important, I guess, against Terran. Against Protoss, sorry.
It is. It is important against Protoss, but it is definitely more important against Terran always. It's the most important
Okay.
matchup for that. But you're still gonna make a 4th queen. I was supposed to make a 4th queen after my 3rd one. I don't know why it didn't start, but I guess I just missed it. But yeah, I should have a 4th queen right now spreading tumors, like after the 3rd one. So 1 by 1 by 1 queens, and then once you saturate your 3rd base, like this, or right around like 445, you get like a nice saturated mineral line. Make a round of safety roaches, like 8 roaches, like 6 to 8 roaches, depending on how much gas you have. But we have enough for 6, so we'll call it a day with 6. It's fine.
Okay.
And now we're going to take gas. What's up?
It's a little bit, it's more different than the Terran one. There are tiny differences.
Sure.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna take all your gas because you have a good, nice amount of ling roach to be safe with. So just take your gas, and also now that you're taking your gas and you're making drones again, take your 4th. And this is assuming that he has a natural, okay? Like that we're not like if he was 1 base all in, you'd have to, when you started making roaches, you probably would have kept making roaches because you're getting all in.
Yeah.
And you would be getting attacked already. But if he has a natural, you could easily get away with the drones we just made. And then you're just trying to saturate your initial 3 bases. That's all it really is.
Should I scout him at 4 minutes mark again and 6 minutes too?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. Any other important scout timings against Protoss?
That would be, those are huge, honestly, because that's going to tell you what tech he's going for, and it's really just knowing what tech he's going for to make the choice of what units you want to go for.
Okay.
Just know this: if a Protoss doesn't take a 3rd base by 520, you probably want to make fucking units, like roaches. 520 is the key. Okay, remember that number. 520.
It's like 420, but yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. 520, no 3rd. Protoss all-inning you. That's what that means.
Okay.
And now we can go into like.
So this is why we sent the links initially, right?
Yes. That's when I said when you make the lings and you go to his 3rds, both his 3rd bases, like either one that he could choose. Now you know if he is or isn't going to take it. And if he does take it, you know you can saturate your 3rd base entirely, your 3 base setup. But if he does not take that fucking base, you need to get ready to be all in. And then now we can go into, literally at this point, you can be on 3 bases and you can max out with Roach Hydra. And you can go into a, so we have a Hydrogen, we have an Evo Chamber, we're going for upgrades, we're getting ready to go fucking Roach Hydra max out. We're about to also, what's up?
I didn't saw what upgrade you
Range
started.
weapons. Range weapon?
Range weapon, okay.
Yeah.
Because with T we turn on the melee ones.
I'm not
And
gonna.
armor.
I'm not gonna upgrade melee, and I'm also don't even bother getting armor against Protoss. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
Yeah, it's a fucking
So
waste.
only one evolution chamber.
Yes,
Interesting.
it's because it's breakpoints. It doesn't change how fast units kill you. That will kill you. Like Immortals kill you the same speed. Archons kill you the same speed. Storm kills you at the same speed. All these things fucking kill you at the same speed. That doesn't change anything. And if you're actually
That's
gonna
not fair.
if you're gonna be a reaction of Sky Toss, is you're gonna still go Corruptor, and it's pointless to get Ground Carapace anyways, because you're gonna go Corruptor.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
Yeah. And then now, we spent all our gas. We have our tech going to Hive. You can add on at this point maybe like another round of drones, just because you can't literally fucking spend any gas anymore. And this is you being like, I'm gonna max really fast on Roach Hydra, and I'm doing this quickly. But now I need more gas because now I'm about to add in Lurker. So now we just added in a few more drones at this point. So this is super fucking safe what I just did. It's super safe, and you might even just kill them with it. And now we have access to, you can go attack if you want. You could go. I would say you probably should go attack. Not if you want. You really should. And the reason why is because you maxed on Roach Hydra, which is not going to scale well. So look at the Hydrogen right now. This upgrade, when you max out, would time out really well with having the upgrades of Hydrogen being done. And I made the Hydrogen the second we started all the rest of our gas. As soon as I could afford it, we made it right then. And now you have options to go into Lurkers. You have options to go, you could literally add in more Lings as well if you wanted to later on. With Adrenal Glands, once you're Hive. You could go into Lurker upgrades, which you definitely should. You could, you could just make pure Hydra if you thought that was going to be a good idea based on what you're going to deal with. But you have, basically the point is you have options with this build. So this build's very economical up to 3 bases, and then it becomes very, very safe with the high potential of timing attacks that can kill your opponent. And if you can't kill your opponent with this first max out, which happens before 9 minutes, it should at least, and if you're not, it means you're doing it slow. And we like maxed out this game at like 8:30, with also going to Hive Tech Lurker. But if you can't kill your opponent with the first max out here, this is when you would make an army based on what you see. If it's something on the ground that you're like, I can't break that, I need Lurker. We'll make Lurker. As well as Hydras again in the future. And maybe some Zerglings and something. And if it's really heavy on the air, well, you could go heavier into Hydra if you want, or you could go into Spire or whatever. And also your scout should tell you a lot too. Like the indirect scout of the Zergling at the 3rd, being like, if there isn't a 3rd by 520, you should think, okay, I'm going to get all in, and that's when you would probably just go stay on the Roach phase for a long time. Because you're probably going to get all, if it's 520, no 3rd, you're probably going to get all in by something that's not very diversified. It's very low tech shit is what you're going to get all in by. Like charge lots only. That's what that means. No Protoss is going to all in you with high-tech shit at like just after 5 minutes. It's impossible unless it's lots of gateways. But how many times would you say you deal with Protosses who go mass gateway all-ins? Does it happen often?
Actually, yeah.
Exactly.
But
I think it does too. Happens a lot,
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Like fucking everybody does that shit. It's like any Protoss out there against Zerg is gonna definitely have a gateway all-in their back pocket that they can always use if they want to. So just know 520 is the key to that. If you don't see a third with your Zergling by 520, just keep powering out roaches. Be like, all right, well, okay, well, I have drones and my drone count is currently at like 60. I want to go to 66, but I'm going to chill for a second because, you know, I'm going to get all in right now. And then you can further confirm it with like an overseer or something and be like, wow, that's fucking like 8 gateways on your 2 base if he still somehow hasn't attacked you yet.
Yeah. 2 questions.
Sure.
The first one, can I scout the 3rd and 4th with overwords? Because I usually do that. I never send links, but
You should
if
send a
links
link.
are better.
That's the point of why you got speed. And if you see it,
Okay.
here's the thing too. If you see a Protoss who is going Sky Toss, for instance, he is not going to do something like Adept based. He's not doing aggression with ground units. Those lings that scout the 3rd really fast, if you can catch it right away, you could send those lings across the map and kill the Nexus. Because if a Protoss is like, I'm going to take a 3rd base off of 1 gateway, I'm greedy as fuck. You could be like, well, no, you're not, because I'm going to go kill the Nexus now. So that's what the lings can do. They give you a lot of power that way.
Yeah, okay. I haven't thought about that. And when should I go Roach Ravager?
When they go sentries. Just
when
sentries.
they go sentries.
Yeah, Ravager is just if they go sentry.
To stop the not the shield. What was the other spell?
Force field?
Yeah, the force field.
Yeah. The reason why it's so good is because you can stagger your biles in front of his army and you can make him walk into it repeatedly. And the bile hits his units really hard. And you can you can cast it over, and like if you have like 10 Ravagers and you go just literally like one bile, and you don't do it on his army, you do it in front of his army. What this does is it prevents him from walking towards you, and if he does, he walks into bile. And if you don't cast it directly on top of him, but you cast it directly in front of him, you don't get yourself within range to be force fielded and die. Like, you're not supposed to just stand there and then bile and then just concave out and auto attack him and let him force field behind you and make the fight. You don't want the fight to happen. You want him to just walk through biles repeatedly as much as possible while you continuously back up. Which is why creep spread then is kind of nice to dealing with that build, because your roaches and ravagers are really fast. And then on top of that, you are going to be the one who's on 3 bases versus him being the one on 2 bases. So every single second that you make the game last longer, you're growing your army at a faster pace than he is on his side because he has less money than you. So it makes sense to delay the fight longer and pepper damage into his army, because if you can actually kill pieces of his army for literally no loss because you're just using biles repeatedly, you're just increasing your supply and lowering his, which is increasing your chances to win the fight overall.
Good shit.
Good shit. Hell yeah.
Good shit. Yeah. So how much time we have?
We got like 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Can we take a 5-minute break?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure, thank you. I'll be back in a minute.
Alright, no worries. Ah, that was good. That shake was delicious. I needed it. It's just what I needed. But yeah. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? How you doing? Shit. What's up, chat? Thank you for the sub, Magafire123. Thank you for the 3-month Prime, and Ravenlol. Thank you for the 21-month resub, dude. We must stop frivolous spending. Instead of paying for cable, let us watch clouds. Instead of buying clothes, wear but sheets from the thine beds. From thine beds. Cut spending to only bare essentials, water and bread and margaritas. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, boy. Hi, ViBE. Hi. That's Randy Marsh. I can't remember.
Doing the exact build you just did. I sometimes get honed by Mass Archon at 8:30. What should I change if I scout Archon? I'm D3. Love ya.
Make roaches. Just make roaches. If you fight Mass Archon, just make roaches and hydras with the build I just did. Like mass roaches if it's really early, and then if you can and you're not dead and the game is stabilizing, just go roach hydra. And then eventually go lurker. Always eventually go lurker if it's a ground-based Protoss opponent. If you can't in the game with your first max out. Hi, baby. My food's getting kind of dry. Just sitting here for too long. Hi. You need some meat? Okay. I love you. I'll give you some. Here you go. There you go. Happy? Happy Doge? What's up, baby? I want to eat this, and then I'm going to go wash my hands really fast. But yo, 5-minute food break. Thank you guys for watching this. Hope you're enjoying the coaching lesson. Hope it is informative. Hope it makes sense. Hell yeah. Feel some more? Here, miss. Love you. Alright, be right back. I'm gonna go wash my hands really fast. Yeah. I'm back. I'm back, guys. I'm back. Right, when you do coaching lessons or replays, do you think it'd be worth it to put the league on the overlay? No. Not as much. I mean, I could. But it gets seen once on Twitch and it gets seen repeatedly on YouTube. And on YouTube, I always start every lesson with "What league are you?" or I rephrase what league they are. And the video is also titled "What league they are." I agree for Twitch, though. I see your point. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Hey man.
Yo, welcome back.
Yep.
Yo, ViBE.
I got
How's it
inspired
going?
by your
I
sugary
don't
shake
use
and
camera
got myself
hotkeys.
some ice cream.
MD2.
Dude,
How important
nice.
is it I put time into...
Nice. I'm glad you got some sugary shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're going to die young.
Yep. That's what it's all about.
Okay, so
All right, so
should
you want to
choose
do
a replay.
Yeah, the mech one is what I assume you wanted to go over.
Yeah, it's a 20-minute game, so if it takes longer, I'm going to send you a little bit more cash on PayPal. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, okay. I know you usually don't do 2-hour sessions or 3-hour, but
I don't want to be going
well,
for 3 hour.
yeah,
But
me too.
we'll try to get
It's
through the
too much information, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, let me find it.
Yo, Heats, don't worry about camera hotkeys. It's not that big of a deal. Use it if you want to, but it's not something that is required.
Where's that game? Oh, okay, here it is.
I was a pro gamer without camera hotkeys. Just know that fact. I didn't use camera hotkeys till like 2012, and I was a pro gamer in 2010. All right, so make me lobby host. You got it, dude. You got it.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Good.
And yo, Heats, thank you for the bits, man. Much love.
So
Thank
let's
you, dude.
start eating
Vlad.
the ice cream.
Vlad, thank you for the $5 dono. Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, just sit back, relax. Let me tell you all about Terran.
Good. This was the first game I tried Vipers.
Okay.
I was feeling adventurous, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure whether I should start using them in Diamond 2, but yeah.
We'll see. I think there's always an easier alternative, honestly. The Vipers are not bad units, but they are definitely units that require perfect setup to be actually worth it. Because if you mistime something, it just falls apart really easy. But we'll see. We'll see what you do.
Okay.
We shall see. All right. Your build's fine so far. I would say your build's a bit safe, but it's fine. You did like a 17, 17, 16, it looked like. But yeah, it's fine. I don't mind it. I'm not saying it's bad. Your third's way too fast if you take it. But if you send the drone down just to chill, that's perfect. Because it's the extra drone, and that's what you're doing. So that's good. That's good. I assume this build is you doing what we talked about last time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's but I believe I did 80 pool. Not sure.
It's okay. The pool gas timing can be one drone different here and there, and it's not gonna like fuck the build up. As long as it is built like when you have the money, then you're not building it at like 18 or you're not building it at like 17 supply when you have like 280 minerals. Then I'll be like, okay, well that's a bit inefficient. But if you're building it at 17 or 18 or whatever, as long as you're spending your money accordingly and you're not wasting time, then either one's fine. It's pretty minor. But I'm gonna see your drone for a second. We'll see what happens.
The stream stopped for some reason.
Hit refresh. It's still live. My stream's still going. It probably just like lagged out for you or some shit. So your drone, I would say, moved a little bit too fast into your third. The reason why is because you ideally want to be going for like a 30 third, not a 26. And even if you could take a third right now, I would say it's a bit early because you have 3 larvae sitting on your hatcheries, and you're about to go up to like 4 or 5 soon. So yeah, 26 supply is definitely way too early. You want to take it at like 30, 31, something around there. Because even if you did take it right now, you would just like have this fat amount of larvae sitting in your hatcheries, which is it's a little bit less efficient than just delaying your third a bit more, like just until you're supposed to take it. And then his SCV was here, and he sees you. So obviously, if this happens, you're gonna want to have your lings come down here. This would require a little bit of tricky micro, because if the Reaper gets here before your drone can actually build it now, you want to build a gas with your drone, so ideally the drone won't die. The Reaper will be here still to be annoying as fuck. Your lings come down and shove the Reaper away, and if you can make him run away far enough, and you see a moment where you can squeeze in a third base, you can cancel the gas and build the hatchery. It requires good time. Again, that's something that requires timing, just like the Viper. It's a micro thing you got to do. If the drone dies, that kind of sucks, because then you got to wait for speed probably if the Reaper just sits here all day. If the drone dies, the best thing you could do, honestly, would be send your queen that makes a creep tumor down to your third to take it, and then immediately make sure you have another queen started in the natural. So in case the Reaper goes around your queen, at least you have another queen that will be soon, like spawning soon in the natural. But like the fact that you attacked the Reaper with the drone, that's a big mistake. You should have built a gas.
Successful. Newly birthed queen ready.
Yeah, now your third is very delayed. So you did send the queen down. I like that. I do like that. Now the drone definitely needs to be going down there very soon. Because now you're even though it looks like you don't have a lot of money, you're going double queen now, and you're going for a super late third. So you're, and I understand the Reaper was there, but like for instance, as soon as the queen started walking to the third, there should have been a drone with it. Like this is huge again. We're talking about timing and priorities here, and the fact that the drone is, like your third is going to be going down to probably like 328, is super fucking late.
Queen birth. Swarm has.
This would be that time you'd want to scout into his base with an Overlord right about now. If you scout within like the next 15 seconds, perfect. Your scouting is good.
Enemy assaulting.
And now you'd want to definitely put 2 drones back on your main gas. You put 1 on. The other one's kind of chilling there.
Forces.
We'll see how long that lasts. But if the 2 gas, 2 out of 3 on your main lasts for a long time, this is fucking critical. This is huge. It will definitely screw you pretty badly.
Attack. Newly birthed queen.
And you saw what looks like a 1-1-1. The reason why I say that is because a Viking could not be out this fast if it wasn't. So this is the time, again, when just like the probe in the first game, it makes sense if you understand the game timer. And if we talk about how early your Overlord got shot by a Viking,
Drones under attack.
4:32. 4:32, your Overlord's getting shot by a Viking. The only way this could be possible, with also having an expansion as well at the same time, is if this dude went 1-1-1. Like, for instance, if you go for another build that is focused on ground, but it still prioritizes fast air units as well, which is like a 2-1-1, and we're talking about like getting 2 medevacs out of a reactor for bio, that comes like almost as fast as this. Those medevacs would spawn at like 440, basically. Like, they would spawn shortly after what the Viking just did. So, yeah, like, you know for a fact that this dude just opened 1-1-1, and any type of a variation of what 1-1-1 could be is now what could be threatening to you. Like, you already know that with the Viking shooting Overlord this fast. So this could turn into BCs at some point. It could turn into a pressure build of Hellion plus air unit at some point. The very least, you know there's a Viking, though, so you know that if there is an air unit, it's not going to be like really fast Banshees or a really fast Liberator. It's going to be something that's delayed now if there is a hybrid ground army, which there most likely is, because it's 1-1-1. Like, so you should be expecting Hellions. And whenever anyone goes 1-1-1, it's not going to be Marines or Marauders, because number one, if they're not going to support that shit with medevacs, it's terrible. And number two, if they're not going to have enough of them, it's terrible. So barracks units usually only get prioritized when it's a 2-1-1. And then factory units are probably going to be prioritized because it's the most standard thing, because Hellions are self-sufficient. It's the most self-sufficient thing you can ever do for Terran. And then the starport doesn't have to stay as what it is now. Most likely what will happen is he made a Viking and he will swap that starport over. And you actually don't see the tech lab on the barracks, which is okay. But again, did you see the armory though? No, you didn't. You should just know again though, 1-1-1, this is what it's capable of. And what does 1-1-1 do? It does harassment with Hellion based pressures with something else with Hellion. Like, it's Hellion plus X. So that's what you should be expecting right now, I would say. So Queen Roach is amazing response against this. But the fact that you were just cranking drones like crazy, it's okay. A little scary, but it's okay. The reason why I say that is because if you know it's a 1-1-1, you have no You have no lings to defend yourself if he does a Hellion run by, is my point. And then you also made a Roach Horn, which I like a lot, like for your timing of like the 2-base thing again. But you have no units at all to defend yourself. These Hellions could literally, like, how many units do you actually have? You have 1 Roach. I see that 1 Roach next to your 2 Queens, but still. He could run these Hellions in your middle line and just roast your drones like crazy if he was a YOLO. So that's a bit of a oversight. So my recommendation would be, when your speed's finishing, make sure you make that safety run to lings, and then I would have no problem with what you did. And the safety run to lings would be like 12 lings or something. It looks like that was select the army maybe or something. Because your overseer's going backwards, unfortunately. You have another overseer going into his base. And now you see factory, starport, tech lab. And you see a fusion core, so now you know, okay, yeah, battlecruiser with battle mech supporting it. Great way to defend this, honestly, would be, again, I hope you cancel both of these Evo Chamber upgrades, and I hope you never get Carapace anymore ever again. Getting Roach speed would be huge here, and then you could go for, like, I think you told me you go for Spire, and I would agree, going for Spire would be great right now. Because you could deal with the you could just go Corruptor Roach and just own the fucking BCs, and also your Roach is going to own the ground units. So that's something that should be always expected. A great way to not get fucked right there, like you just did, would be, oh, BC's in my base, or a drop is in my base, or a Banshee's in my base, or Liberator's in my base. Something in the air, with especially if it's a 1/1/1 opener. When something is attacking you that is just the air unit, split your Roaches up 50% and 50% in front of your third and your natural. And then if you see him engaging you because you have vision of the creep, move your units automatically to where they like move them towards wherever his units are, like catch him in the process. But if for whatever reason you're like, I gotta micro my queens for a second, and then you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize Hellion's driven my third base. Well, you have your Roaches there. Maybe it's not all of them, but you still have at least half of them there. So it's like 4 or 5 Roaches that'll just be shooting the Hellions at this point. So just get in the habit of doing that. Like when you're just sitting on defense, guard both your bases, like both exposed bases, just by going all of my Roaches. Move the third. Okay, now half of them, green box, half of them go towards the natural. Call it a day. That way you can always fix it because they'll move to the other base if it needs to be reinforced really fast. But this way you're not going to lose all your drones, like what's kind of going on right now, where you lose a shitload of drones.
Okay.
Because you just lost 19 drones right now. That's fucking critical damage. Alright. I'm glad you're rebuilding drones though. That's really good. You're going into a Hydroden and you're still maintaining melee Carapace upgrades and Baneling speed. I don't think you're going to use any one of those upgrades all game. And the reason why, Carapace doesn't do shit versus mech. Just like Carapace doesn't really do much against Protoss. Because again, there are breakpoints. The only unit that Carapace actually will give you benefits against, realistically. I mean, if you're going to go Hydras against BCs, Carapace actually does do something there. I'm not going to lie. It does. But going Hydras against BCs is also kind of like... okay, let me just ask you. Do you go Corruptors this game? Do you actually go Corruptors this game or no?
I believe no.
Okay.
But the guy didn't do a lot of battle cruisers.
Sure. So if someone...
Should they go for Corruptors for like 5 or 6 or something like that?
If somebody does go for a lot of battlecruisers, I would prefer that you go Corruptors over Hydras. Hydras are pretty fucking bad against BCs. Just like they're pretty bad against carriers. Because the thing is if you fall into the situation, the classic Zerg mistake where it's like, oh fuck, I can't kill this guy and he's maxing out and I'm just making Hydras and Hydras and Hydras and Hydras. Once you get to a point where you're like Diamond Masters, anything up there, you're going to feel like the game is like Zerg sucks. And if you just go Corruptors, you're going to feel like Zerg's really good again. So if you notice they're going for Sky, like heavy Sky, I would highly recommend going Corruptor. And the fact that you said it earlier makes me happy because I feel like you have the capability to do that already. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go Hydras, it's okay. I would say don't get fucking Carapace, but because you're gonna go Hydra, it makes sense because it will be Hydras versus BCs, and that actually does do something for you there. But the melee upgrade, not necessary. And then also the Carapace upgrade against everything else on the ground is fucking terrible. And here's why. A Cyclone, lock on, armor does nothing to it. It's a spell. It's not an auto attack. It pierces 100% of the armor. You could have 100 armor on your unit and it would still do full damage. Now the Hellions, it does do something against the Hellions, but the Hellions are also basically like garbage in this situation against Roach Hydra. Like the Hellions are actually just fodder. So Hellion damage is irrelevant here. It really doesn't do anything. It's all about like the blue flame Hellion is actually a bit scary for the Hydra, but the Hellion is not scary at all to a Roach. And whether or not you have Carapace upgrades is not going to change either one of those dynamics. It's gonna do nothing. And then same thing with like the Thor, the Siege Tank. Carapace is not going to help you there. Widowmine, it will not help you there. So all ground units, if he does go heavy ground and you're still going for like level 3 Carapace, it's kind of a waste. Because the reason why is because it's a cost. It's a big cost on your gas, and you'd be better off actually just like maxing faster with units instead. Because a level 3 gas in total is worth the value of 575 gas. It's 575 gas, I believe.
That's a lot.
Or is it? It's 675 gas. It's 675 gas. I felt like I was wrong. Yeah, it's 675 gas. That's a shitload. That's the equivalent of like 13 Hydras plus 25 more gas. So that's a fuckload of gas. And if you're spending that on a Carapace upgrade, that's not going to do much for you here. It's just going to slow down your max. It's also the equivalent of like, I don't know, like 47 roaches. If I did that right? I don't know if I did that right. Whatever. I'm so tired I can't do math right now. It's a lot of roaches.
Yeah, but I got the point, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, now you're going Banes and stuff. Do you know he's going mech this game? You do. So, and the Banes, Banes I would say are, you definitely don't want to be going for Banes right now. A good thing to do, here's a tip, okay? A really good thing to do against mech, always, get a Spire, no matter what. Always make a Spire. So this is a specific to Terran thing. Always make a Spire, and I don't give a shit if you want to go Roach, Hydra, whatever. Always make a Spire, and start upgrading weapons on it, and don't make mutas right away. Just upgrade weapons on it. And if your opponent actually goes for what he's going for, which is what a lot of people do, where he just goes mass tank Hellion, and you know why he's doing that? It's because you're going Roaches. If he goes mass tank Hellion, and he's like, I'm countering the Zerg right now because he's going Roaches. Roaches are cheap as fuck on gas. Just in general, because you can make 4 per 100. If you actually do a swap, a tech swap to like 20 muta, and you have also like level 1 or even better yet, level 2 weapons, and he's got nothing but tank Hellion, you just win the game. You literally just win the game. So I'm not telling you have to do it right away, but you can attack your opponent, and if you're like, wow, this guy's got ridiculous amounts of tanks, and now he's about to like, I just did an attack and it failed, and now I see him driving across the map, and he's gonna come attack me now. You could remax muta or remake as many as you could, and if you can make like 20 mutas right there, you would just fucking kill this army. It would be so much better than making Hydras. Like Roach muta is actually insane, but I don't want you to go mutas all the time, because sometimes you have to be very good about how you position them. But just make the Spire as an option, and if you see no Thor or very low BC count or no BC at all, and it's just like tank Hellion like this, making mutas is an automatic win.
Okay.
Because you would kill his army, he has no way to kill your mutas, and then you fly across the map after you kill his army, and you kill his command centers, and he can't defend it. So this is rough because you're now in a position where you're on a bad army. You're making Lings and Banes with Roaches and Hydras, and you're also down in supply. This means you've taken so much, like, you didn't even take that much damage. You took the 19 drones that died from the Hellions and also the BC for a moment at your third. That's the only time you lost drones. But yet you're down in supply so heavily, and I think it's because you've done too many things at once. Like you did the upgrades, your 2/2 Lingbane, which is not great, I would say, for now. You got Bailing Speed, you got a Bailing Nest, you got Infestation Pit, you got Hydra upgrades, you got every tech path except for Aspire. So you went kind of expensive all over the place, and then you also made Banes and shit. And I would say you also did this before you were fully saturated, because when you lost those drones, you did not drone back to like 80 drones once you killed the Hellions and shit. You droned back to like 60 for the longest time, and then you eventually went back to 80. Or you eventually went up to 80. You never went back. You never got there before that. You eventually went up to 80 later on. I think your buildup of your economy was too slow this game, and I think you could have known, based off of, if you can tell, oh wow, that's a really early Viking killing my like if the Viking kills your Overlord in the first 4 minutes that you scout into his base, that's a 1-1-1 build. And if it's a 1-1-1 build, it's harassment, and all you got to do is prepare for a Hellion run by to guarantee you're not going to get fucked over, and then just drone your ass off. Especially if you see what he had, which is a third command center. That is like, if you make 10 roaches at that point, so you could have had the safety lings, like I told you that you should have had, like 12 lings or something. You could have then made, once you go, oh wow, third base, and also that Viking's really fast. You know he's 1-1-1 because he has a fast fucking starport. You can't make a Viking that fast and have like 3 factories or have like 3 barracks. It is 1-1-1. Now, knowing that that was what it was and seeing the third command center, there's nothing that can do any real damage to you. And if you just prepare for a harassment, which would be again like 10 roaches, and you just split them in your base like half and half in front of your national and your third, you could just attempt to throw down a 4th base on the edge of your creep, wherever the hell you wanted to do it, really early. And then you could just saturate your 4th as well, and then spread your creep, saturate your 4th, and then you could go into like a really fucking fast max. Like we're talking a sub 8:30, 8 minutes 30 seconds. Anything below that you could max out like 8:15, 8:20, 8:25. Like between 8 minutes and 8:30, you could probably max it that fucking fast off of a roach based composition, because you also did confirm it's mech. And roach-based comps against mech are pretty fucking solid. They're pretty good. Like, for early game. Especially if it's Hellion-based with starport. That means his tank count is going to be very late, delayed, and low. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, how are you feeling right now about this? About what we're talking about?
They made a lot of mistakes.
Do you have any questions though?
No.
Okay. So, because again, the biggest thing I'm seeing here that's a problem for you again, it's similar to the same concept as like the Immortals in that last game we watched, where I was like, well, this is now a position where it's like it's now 10 times harder. If you are in a position where the Terran is at a better composition than you are, it takes a long fucking time to build up a lot of tanks like this. He has 11 tanks. You can't do that as fast as Zerg can make 9 roaches, 8 hydras, 23 lings, and 29 banes. You know what I mean? Like, you can make that army for Zerg, and like if you have as many hatches as you do right now, you could remake that army in a matter of 20 seconds. This Terran, if he loses these tanks, would have to remake this army a lot slower than that. He would need like a full minute to remake these tanks, or like a minute and a half even. Like, tanks build slow as fuck. So again, the point I'm trying to make here is the fact that this Terran has more supply than you, and it's a more well diversified, so like high tech army than you have, is something went wrong there for you. Like, this shouldn't happen. The fact that you're not maxed out by 11 minutes and you're actually trailing Terran in supply when he's going heavy tank, it just means that shit's gone wrong for you. And it's because your drone count was so delayed. And also some of your drones died. But I would not say 19 drones dying justify the fact that you're still only 167 supply. You honestly, if I would say your max out could have been like 8 to 830, if 19 drones die, I would say your max out now would be like 845 to 915. Like, it's still early. Because your drones died as well when you already had like 60 plus. Not when you only had like 30 or 40. Which would have been a bigger deal. What up, Larissa? Hi. Hey. And now it's all about like really trying to find an opening on the dude. And the more banes you make, the more you're just wasting your gas, I would say. Like, watch how... I'm just going to guarantee it and say... Watch how shitty your banes do when this fight really happens. Let's just watch. You have 44 banelings. Now, if this was bio-tank, I would be like, yeah, it's fine. I don't mind it. But it's fucking tank mech. Tank Hillian. Let's watch... Like, your lings are going to get shit trades, too, because of Hillians. But watch the bane. The banes are... Like, here's the thing, though. Lings are cheap. I don't give a shit if you have lings. If all your lings were here were just to die, I wouldn't be like, ah, dude, that was expensive. I'd be like, that was a missed opportunity with your supply, and you wasted a lot of time. But it's not like if these lings die, that suddenly you just threw all your money away. But that is actually the case as well with the banes, because gas is such a valuable resource for you right now. And the fact that you're blowing it on a bunch of banelings against mech that is also tank-based is... not ideal. No matter what kind of mech it is, I would say don't make banes. But it's like worst of all is that it's tank based. Now let's watch how much damage these banes do. So 1 tank has died. 3 tanks have died. But to be fair, I wouldn't say that's because of the banes. I would say it's also because the lings are surrounding the tanks and he's actually splashing himself. And the reason why this is happening is because this dude has decided to fully fucking retreat his Hellions that have blue flame and let his tanks tank the damage, which doesn't make any sense. Now look at all these banes coming in. This is the brunt of your banes. That was a lot of banes that just died right there. Now I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna look at resources lost. Now we can see that in the resources lost, you got a good chunk there above him, a bit. Like, this might come back for you a little bit right now, though, because you might actually win this fight, because some of those tanks aren't even sieged right now for him over here. Like, I would say this. The Terran definitely did not micro this ideally. He kind of fucked himself by letting all of his tanks die and keeping the Hellions alive longer, and then the Hellions just died to the Banes anyways. That was not great. Definitely should have had the Hellions in front, but, I mean, we'll see. We'll let it go now. I do think you're going to win this fight overall, based off of how many tanks died to Zerglings. But now, so I would say this. That one as fortunate as it could have for you, and we'll see what you build as a response to what just happened. You're going back into Carapace level 3. Again, that's super expensive, not worth, as we talked about before. You're going back into Mass Lingbane. The only way Lingbane would work from here is if you were killing expansions. It's the only way it would work. If you keep trying to fight his army with Lingbane repeatedly, you are going to take worse trades than he is, and you are going to run yourself out of money faster than he will. It's guaranteed. So a better composition, in my opinion, would be, well, first of all, it would be getting a max out faster, because staying on low-tech shit like this, staying on like Lingbane, Hydra, stuff like that, when you have less supply than your opponent, or when you were down in supply from before, that's like a lose-lose situation. A better way to go about dealing with mech would be teching into something else that's better. Like, for instance, if there are mass tanks, you could go Spire. If there are a hybrid of tank and Thor, you could go, literally, in my opinion, Swarm Host. If there are a lot of Thor instead, if it's like pure Thor, Swarm Host again. Sormost would be the easier, more solid option than Broodlord. I honestly, I would have told you Broodlord if this was a year ago. But Thors are just like ridiculously strong against Broodlord now. And if you go Broods against Mech, you're going to also feel like Zerg sucks. Because Broods just get manhandled by Thors. It's ridiculous. They buff that unit a little bit too much.
What are Broods actually good at currently?
Sucking dick.
Sucking dick. So
Let me
basically nothing.
Yeah. Broodlords are okay in ZVZ for certain situations that we're not even going to go into it because it's way above Diamond League and it's never going to happen. Literally, if you're in Diamond League, just go like Roach Ravager or something like that. And you'll win all your ZVZs if you get good at that. Broodlords are actually not bad against Protoss if you can transition into it and the Protoss is going like mass charge lot Archon Immortal. Suddenly Broodlords are really good there because they can actually wipe that army out very cost efficiently. But Broodlords against Terran, I would say the only time it would ever be good to go Broodlords ever against Terran would be if they were going bio and it was Marine tank heavy and you wanted to make some Broods to initiate the fight so that tanks would shoot Marines because of Broodlings. That's the only time. And you don't even need to make a lot. We were talking like make 6 of them. And it's just to initiate the fight because it's what 2 things could happen. One, you can initiate a really good fight by having a lot of tanks kill a lot of Marines through splash damage. And number 2, if he overreacts and he makes a bunch of Vikings and you're not even committed to going into a lot of air, that could be really good for you. If now suddenly your army goes just right back into pure ground. Like for instance, what if he makes like 20 Vikings or like 12 Vikings or something and you just make like 8 Ultralisk? Or you have like mass Lingbane. Like suddenly it's like, oh, why did I make Vikings? Shit, I don't even need them now. Because the Zerg didn't actually go mass Broodlord Corruptor. He just made like 5 Broodlord or 6 Broodlord. That's like the only time you could ever justify making them against Terran. But if Terran's going mech and they have Thor, you make like 12 Broodlord go attack like 8 Thor, and you're going to watch 8 Thor kill all 12 Broodlord, and 8 Thor are still going to be alive. Like it's just dumb.
Yeah, funny.
Your creep spread this game is a lot better than previous. But
yeah, I believe.
Yeah, your composition though is definitely incorrect. Because again, the only way this would work is it's an inefficient tradey style, and the only way it would work is if you had more money than your opponent. And look at the income tab right now. You actually don't have that at all. You're the one who has less money, so you're doing an inefficient style that requires lots of inefficient trades, and the only reason why that would work is if you starve your opponent out. So even though you're the one trading like, 50% more resources go down the toilet for you every time you take a fight with the Terran, he's mining like half of what you're mining. So, or like a third of what you're mining at this point, because you keep killing his expansions and he's mining out of his main, he's mining out of his natural, and you're just starving his ass out. That's the only way it would work. So if you sit back here defensively with this kind of a composition against mech, he's just going to scale better than you. And I guarantee, in the next fight, if this guy goes for, what does he have? Tanks? He does have tanks again. Unless you catch him unsieged and he makes a massive mistake, unless that's what happens, I guarantee you're going to lose like 3 times as much supply, or 3 times as much resources as he does. Or at least double. Like it's going to look really bad. Because his composition just scales way better than yours. So again, like Swarmost would be great here because he's going tank and Thor. That'd be huge. And you could just literally every single time the Swarmost is up on cooldown, run to the edge of your creep and just launch a fucking wave at him. Not only could you kill maybe a base, but you'll also kill some tanks, some Hellions, and you lose nothing in the process.
Honestly, I've never used Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, I'd say
like once.
Yeah, you can. It's really easy. Literally, all you do, you have them selected. You hit C, you click on the screen, and it makes the locust go that direction. And
yeah,
proper.
You don't need to micro the locust.
You do not. You can if you want to be really intense with it, but you really like in Diamond League. No, you don't. You don't need to micro it at all. Okay. And the safe distance you would want to cast them out at would be as close as possible without your locust or without your swarm host getting hit. So if it's siege tanks, you'd want to go like half a screen length away from where he is. Like if, where your hydras are right now. Like look at your army in the middle of the map, and look at like the Zerglings, the 3 of them that are on the far right side of your army, that are like the farthest right Zerglings. If you pretend that those were Swarmhost, and you pretend that the creep tumor to the right of it, not the first one, but like the second creep tumor, is where the tank would be. That would be like a perfect distance from where your lings are to that second creep tumor to cast a wave of locust, to where you probably would not get shot. You'd be like just out of max range of tanks, and then you could launch your locust at tanks in that area, and you just run away. The second you launch locust, run away. Don't just sit there. You run back to your safety of your creep and shit. And you can also, or good.
I shouldn't use worms or something like that.
No, it's
Only-
advanced.
Or
It's advanced. Just
Okay.
creep spread, and just use changelings. Like make a couple overseers to be like, hey, like send 1 or 2 changelings over there and over there, just so I know I'm not going to run into death. And then as soon as you find where he is, go launch a wave of locust at him, and your life will be easy.
Mineral field.
And your money will be very high then too, because you're not losing resources.
Forces under attack.
Okay, get ready for it. Resources lost. You have 10.4. He has 9.3. My guess, when this fight is over, my guess is your resources lost is going to be at like 14,000, and he's going to be at like 10.5. That's my guess. Like you're going to lose like 2 to 3 times as much as he does in this fight. And there you go. The fight is over. And you're at 16? It was even worse. You're at 16 and he's at 10.3. And that's just what it's going to happen. If your army does not scale well against what he has, his army is a power army that scales throughout the game. That is fucking strong. Your army is an army that does not scale. It instead is all about trades. And it, again, like I was saying before, it needs to kill expansions. You would have been better off either base trading him, going around the right side, trying to get into his main natural area and just killing production, or going around the left side and killing that top left base. Either one would have been a better choice than fighting that army. And then obviously you're going to need to make something that can deal with that army. And my best choice I can give you, honestly, for Diamond would be Swarmhost, because it's easy and it's strong. Mutas would be good too if you magic box the Thors and then killed all the tanks. That would be fucking amazing. But I'm not going to tell you to magic box your mutas and then also always optimally use your mutas effectively to kill bases, because mutas require like a high level of knowledge about how to use them. Otherwise, they kind of suck. So Swarmhost would be the easy option of just going, look, cooldown's ready, send that shit at him. The cooldown's ready, send it at him again. Cooldown's ready, do it again. It's all about the cooldown and just throwing shit at him, and you'll still fuck his army up pretty bad.
how many swarm hosts? Any other units with them?
You don't need to send units with them. If you're gonna play a style of like Swarmhost, like Roach Hydra, Swarmhost, stuff like that, that's fine. Make like 20 Swarmhost, okay? 20 Swarmhost.
20. Okay.
And then you just send Locust Waves at his army repeatedly, and if he's not actually attacking you, you can send it at his base. And then you can always counterattack his base with your actual ground army of like roaches or whatever the fuck you want to use. And then, like I said before, always make a Spire and upgrade weapons. And if this dude actually at any point ever has a very low or no Thors, and let's say you have no other units on the field right now because they all died except for your Swarmhost, make Mutalisk. And just watch how fucking easy it is if it's just tanks. Because that requires no micro then. That's like, cool, I have Mutas that can kill all things that shoot ground. Like, Mutas would be a fucking amazing choice right now. I'm not going to lie. They would be. And all, like, I know I said, like, just a second ago, too. I was like, Mutas would maybe not be the biggest recommendation because you got to use them effectively and shit like that. But if the guy has, like, 90% tanks, all you have to understand is every minute that goes by, every single minute that goes by in a game of StarCraft, which is going to be very, very, very apparent in a mech game because mech games are generally longer. Every minute that goes by, you should kill expansions more and more and more. It's more important. So if you killed top left and you killed top middle and you killed the one just below it with mutas, The furthest, most exposed bases. After you killed his army with Locust and Mutas as well. Look at his main base. Resource-wise. He's got 1 gas left with 106. Now look at his natural. Both his gases have like 600-ish left. And his mineral patches have 35, 170, and 260. This is enough to make like 1.5 Thors. Like a little bit more than a Thor. Like 1 Thor. Like this is nothing. Now look at his third. The third has a decent amount of money. But if he's mining 1 base to your like 4 bases, he's fucked anyways. And if your mutas went over to his, look at top left. Mutas could easily kill that. Look at top middle. Mutas could easily kill this too. Like both of these bases. It's triple planetary with a couple turrets. And if you had like 20 Swarmos, you could also make like, probably like 25 mutas. And if you were just because if you were upgrading weapons the whole time, and right now when you switch into mutas, you have either +2 or at this point now at 16 minutes, maybe you even have +3 weapons even started now. Your mutas would fucking destroy his buildings. And here's the thing too, is also your Swarmmost will also, if you ever keep him defensive with your Swarmmost, and you're just constantly like sending waves of locusts at him over and over and over, you might never let him max in the first place because you might actually fucking kill his army repeatedly. Like you'll have to get trades repeatedly that are really good. And now you won't even be in a position where it'd be like, make mutas here, because now suddenly he doesn't even have these expansions because he's busy replacing all the units that keep dying when he's on 3 bases. He's like, fuck, okay, the Swarmmost wave again, and again, and again. And then the first time he moves out of his base, you back up your Swarmmost onto creep, and you just keep throwing waves of locust at him on your creep, and you counterattack his base with like roachling or some shit, or just roaches on his 3rd base. And you kill all of his probes, or all of his SCVs on his 3rd. And your Swarmmost just periodically clean up his army at your base. You know what I mean? Like that's how you could play this out. Easy peasy with Swarmmost. But the style you're playing with the Ling Bane shit, it just doesn't go very well.
Okay. Point taken.
How you feeling, dude? How you feel?
Great, great. So much knowledge.
Good.
I won't be able to sleep today.
Hell yeah.
My brain is going to explode.
Oh shit. Alright, check this out, okay? So
Yeah, the game is over right now.
it is, and I just want to tell you something about Viper really fast. There's 2 ways to use Viper. Number 1 is you don't walk into siege tank range and you abduct. You did both. You walked into siege tank range and abducted. It doesn't make any sense. You have to not walk into siege tank range, but be close enough that when you do abduct, you kill it still. So it doesn't just like unsiege and run away. So you have to be like just outside tank range if you abduct to kill tanks that get abducted. Now, and also that works better too when he's really staggered, like really spread on his tank lines. Now, if he clumps like this really hard, and your plan is to engage full on right in his face, it would have been better to Blinding Cloud here. And the goal of Blinding Cloud is all about timing, and it would be you have 6 seconds to recast it before the tanks will shoot you. I'm not saying it doesn't stack, obviously, but you could definitely cast them all in one spot if you really wanted to. It's like Sonic Storm. It would just waste everything else after the first one. But if you waited like 5 seconds, or if you timed it perfectly and waited 6 seconds, and the second it went down, you put another one right on it again, you could actually have Blinding Clouded these tanks like 5 or 6 times because you had like 6 Vipers. You could have done it like actually like 9 times because a few of your Vipers actually had high as fuck energy, which means they were full. Some of them are still full. So you could have Blinding Clouded this quite a bit. And if you Blinding Clouded it, like 2 really fat, juicy Blinding Clouds on the big clip of units right there, like one to get like most of the tanks to the bottom and one to get the tanks on the top, and then a second Blinding Cloud to go on the tanks on the top. Furthermore, like the ones that have spread out a bit more on the top right. You could have disabled probably like 80% of his army right now with Blinding Cloud. If you're going to engage with Hydras, it makes more sense to do that way. So knowing how and when and what to use with Viper is a big deal. But again, like I said, running into his army and then abducting as you run into his concave makes no sense. It defeats the purpose of abduct because you might as well have just not even made Viper at that point.
Good to know.
That's why I don't recommend Viper, just because it's like that unit is a much harder unit to learn to use than like a swarm host, for instance. Swarm host is literally, you would have 20 of them selected, and you would go C, click, and you go, oh yeah, let's fucking macro again. Go, man, I'm injecting my base, I'm creep spreading. Oh, his army died. I didn't even know what happened. Cool. Like swarm host is like fucking easy mode for micro.
I will try it for sure.
Yeah.
Why do Terrans do triple planetary? What's the point?
There is no point. It's awful. That's not what every
Okay.
turn does. Yeah. This is just this guy being like, I will not lose these bases. I will not lose these bases. But you know what's funny is he doesn't have building armor, and if you had 20 Swarmhost and you landed Locust on these planetaries, guaranteed the first wave of Locust would guaranteed kill at least one of these three, maybe two, as long as his planetaries didn't get some like super juicy fucking hits. In terms of AoE on your Locust, I guarantee you'd kill at least one though. And then if you did kill at least one, the second wave of Locust, you would kill the last two. You would kill guaranteed 2 planetaries at the same time with 20 Locust worth of, or 20 Stormhost worth of Locust, which is 40 Locust. And if you had level 3 weapons on Locust, you'd be like, wow, those buildings died really fast. It's fucking insane how hard Locust hit buildings. They hit so fucking fast, and they actually hit as hard as like Hydras do. Yeah. So you're doing the same thing again there, where you're engaging it, and you're also abducting at the same time. And yeah, it just doesn't really... Yeah, we already explained it, but...
Yeah.
Alright. But now, I honestly, I just see you dying here, mainly because your composition is technical now, it's harder, and Roach Hydra is a bit better than Ling Bane, I'm not going to lie, in terms of what you're dealing with. But it's still not optimal about dealing with what he has, which is fuckloads of tanks. He still has the better composition than you do. And again, if I were to tell you what would be the easiest thing to make right now, if you were using Locust, this composition would continuously be dying, which would be really nice. But if you ever found yourself in a position where you're like, shit, I just lost a lot of stuff, lots of things died, what can I make to deal with this? Mutas would be a great choice if you had to panic and make a unit. Because he has like basically no anti-air, and if you were upgrading weapons on Mutas, you would crush the shit out of this army really fast, and then have the ability to kill his expansions. And again, like I was saying before, now look at his natural. Now look at his third base. These bases are getting even more depleted than they were before. Like if you kill his expansions, the game ends right now, for both of you. So whoever gets map control right now is going to be the one who wins the game. So the game could be decided off of one fight, is what I'm trying to say. And you have enough gas right now to make 20 fucking Mutas, if your army were to die. And it's still going up too, because you have all of your gases basically mining, except for the one of the ones in your main base. So it's pretty fucking massive. But you made 5 more Viper. It's rough. That's a lot of gas. And see how he staggers himself out now? He's not clumped anymore. This would be when Blinding Cloud would be better. But you would want it to be... What up?
I always thought Muta is very hard to use.
Yeah,
I always lose when I do it.
It's not an easy unit to use, but it is when your opponent has no anti-air.
Yeah, this army sucks against Mutas, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like you abducted, again, it's same thing again. It's just all like by the time it took you to abduct like 4 units, your whole fucking army died. For the most part, because you're sending your army in to abduct, which is incorrect.
Okay. Yeah. Point taken here.
Yeah, and then now, yeah, I can see why you're dead. Because now he's actually pushing into your base, and there's... Again, you could still make Mutas here, and you still had a chance. Because you just made another... Like, imagine if you canceled those 10 Hydras, That's 500 gas. You still could have made 21 mutas right now. And that was after you made 5 Viper. You could have made 31 mutas if you didn't make those 5 Viper as well. And this is, again, that panic moment when it's like, oh fuck, I need to kill this. Because if those mutas killed his army right now, this is expensive for the Terran to replace this. And then if those mutas then also flew up to the top of the map and killed his newest expansions, well, suddenly he can't replace the expensive army because he doesn't have any money.
Can I kill the production instead of the...
No, do not.
No.
Don't do that. You know why?
Don't do that.
This is why. How? I want you to tally it up, okay? Like, guesstimate it. How much health in total is at his top left base? If you had to guess.
1,500, I guess.
So it's 4,800.
Why?
Because each planetary is 1,500 and each turret... Or sorry, it's actually... I said that wrong. It's actually 5,250 because for some reason I thought each turret was worth 100. I was thinking about the mineral cost. The planetaries are worth 1,500 and the turrets are worth 250. So you just add it all up and that's how much health you'd have to kill through.
There are 3 planetaries. Okay, I almost got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we're thinking about the concept of time. How long would it take to kill this base? If you had like 20 mutas, okay, 20 mutas, I would say it would take you probably about 30 seconds to kill this base with 20 mutas. Like 20 seconds to 30 seconds to kill this whole base with just 20 mutas. If you had like 30 mutas and they all had like +3 weapons, suddenly now it would only take you like probably 12 seconds. It would go much faster. Like the better your... This is why I say get weapon upgrades in the mutas, just in case you go to it. Because it is very good at certain times when you can do this, like right now. Now, if you look at the base next to it again, the one to the right, it's this one, instead of having 5,250, this one I would say would have more around the size of like 6k. Because now he has an extra turret, he's got a sensor tower, and he's got 2 gases. Maybe like 6.2 or something like that. It's still not that much. Now if you look at the base below it, now suddenly he does have a little bit of production there too. This base below it, now we're talking this base has more like probably 9,000 health because he has barracks there. And production is fucking tanky as shit. A barracks is almost as tanky as a command center. It has 2/3 of its health. Now if we go to his main base and you were like, I'm going to go for production. If I were to tell you the number of health in his main base, that number would be probably around 19,000 to 20,000 in his main base. Because you have fucking... Each factory is 1,250, which is only 250 less than a command center, and he has like 8 of them. So that'd be the equivalent of having like 6 PFs just in factories. You also would have to kill the barracks. You would also have to kill the add-ons. You would also have to kill the starport. You'd have to kill the refineries, the turrets, all the tech. You'd have to kill the armories, the engineering bay, the fusion core, all the depots. Like, it's so much more health. And just the main alone is like almost 20k. The natural alone is more probably like another... This is just one command center, but still all these depots here. And the natural, this is probably like 4,000. And then you got like the third base, which has other factories at it, which is again probably more in the realm of like 7 to 8k. So if you add all the bases together between main, natural, third, which is where his production is really located, going for production... It's compared to going for his expansions, which have somehow fucking triple planetary at them, which is very weird. But it'd be like saying, oh, I'm going to kill a base that's worth about 6k hit points, or going to kill his production between all 3 bases that is worth about like maybe 35,000 health. You know what I mean? So it's like 6k versus 35,000. That's fucking insane how long it would take you to kill all of his factories, all of his add-ons, all of his depots. It would take forever. And in that time it would take you to kill those things, he would easily get Thors or something to deal with you. You might kill a couple factories, but more would pop out of other buildings, and then he would push you away. But if you kill his expansion, because of time is what you're relying on here, he could make Thors, and then not only that, they don't spawn in the fight. They'd have to walk across the map to get to you, and they're slow as fuck. You might kill 1, 2, maybe if you get lucky, all 3 expansions. And then suddenly Thors push you away, but you're like, I don't care. I just fucking killed all your economy. So, good shit. Like, because I killed it fast. Because all 3 expansions if you have like one of them's worth like 6K, one of them's worth like maybe like, you know, right around like 6.5, and the other one's worth like maybe like 7.5 or 8. It's still, all 3 expansions are worth way less than like the 35K or so in the main base natural and third. And the other reason why one of his expansions is worth a bit more is because he actually chose to build a Ghost Academy there and also 2 barracks, which is a bit awkward because he's putting his production really exposed right now. So yeah, time is everything. That's one thing I would say the common denominator out of this lesson, and it's something that I would want you to learn the most, is time. Understanding how important time is as a resource in StarCraft. It's actually huge. And maximizing it is definitely what you want to be doing.
Good.
Alright, man. Any other questions?
Let me think for a minute. I believe no. I'm going to rewatch this last part because my brain is melted right now.
Sure.
But yeah, I believe I don't have any questions.
Alright, dude. Well,
It was a huge lesson, a lot of information. Thank you very
was.
much.
It definitely was. But you know, thanks for doing a lesson, man. And again, I wish you the best of luck. And I will. I know. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take it
Yep.
easy, dude.
Yep, you too, man.
All right.
Bye.
Good luck, dude. See ya. All right, guys. That has been a coaching lesson with our boy IFAC. But much love, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go check out other videos. If you're still here, I know this is a long lesson, but if you're still listening and you made it all the way to the end, you guys can also check out more if you're like, I didn't get enough. I need more. I do have a lot more coaching lessons with other people all the time. I have so many posted. And other things like replay analysis and also a Bronze Museum series if you guys are hungering for more information about how to play this game. But anyways, thank you for watching. I hope this helps anyone out there as well. Take it easy, everybody. Good luck. And I will see you in the next video. So until then, peace, guys. Later.